Hey, welcome to your Taurus horoscopes for the week of the 11th to the 17th of February. Still focused on that inner closet. It's almost like peeling layers of muck off of yourself. Very difficult process, to be sure. Trust me on this. I've been through this process a lot. And I mean, not just been through it, but been open to the lessons of it, which makes it a tiny bit easier and yet not at the same time. Our everything inside of us wants to run away from something like this. But when we stop running from it and really look at it, really learn from it, the change is just extraordinary. I just have to say, we still have Jupiter and Uranus, of course, in Taurus, and the moon is also going to amplify everything that's going on there. Jupiter and Uranus are squared with everything that's moving out of Capricorn and into Aquarius, which is a lot because we have Mercury, we have Pluto, we have Mars, eventually we have Venus as well. All of these planets are sort of moving in a group together, which is creating some challenges for you guys, specifically around your long-term goals and your finances. And these really are two things that we have challenges with over and over and over again. But this time, the challenge really is about changing old behaviors around these specific things. So, what happens with any kind of long term goals, specifically financial goals? We get really excited. We come up with a plan. Turns out it's the same plan that we've always had all the time. And then all of a sudden stuff happens and you got obstacles in your way and you kind of sit there and go, of course, this is what always happens to me. I don't even know why I bother trying, right? What's the definition of insanity? It's doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same results. And this really is what this is all about. Okay. This is about coming up with a different plan or tweaking things a little bit. So it's not, you're not doing the same thing and getting the same results. Not to mention the fact that the whole world, the mood of the world, the way that we do things is completely changing. You don't want to be stuck behind with in terms of the changes that are taking place in the future. A lot of people have had that problem and they don't necessarily survive it. And because we're talking about Taurus and because we're talking about fixed signs don't like to change. They like things to stay the same. The world does not work like that. The moon comes in and amplifies all of this Wednesday and Thursday and moves into all of those squares as it moves into conjunction with Jupiter and Uranus. So those 2 days specifically, we're talking Wednesday and Thursday, big challenges around that. It takes what's already a challenge and just amplifies it and could quite possibly cause an emotional response to the whole problem. But then again, this is how I like to look at it for myself. At least this is what I've been taught by my guides. And that is if you're trying to push something to make it happen and it's not happening, you just need to stop pushing because either it's not going to happen or you're not letting it flow. You're not letting the energy flow. You're not asking your guides for help. Something is missing, and that's why it's not working. So, my advice to you guys is incorporate something new into those financial plans, specifically your long-term financial goals. Do it in a way that's a little bit different. Do some research, see what's out there. There's all kinds of new stuff out there. And in all honesty, if it hasn't worked before, it probably isn't going to work again. So you want to avoid that pushing a square peg into a round hole thing. Now, as the moon is leaving your sign on Friday, it actually is extremely helpful to all of this as it moves into a grand sextile with Neptune, which is focused right on the cusp of your support system and your career goals there, as well as all of those planets that are currently moving into Aquarius right now, Venus, Pluto, and Mars, all sort of clumped together, all of which are focused around your long-term financial goals. So here we start off with a bit of a challenge, but the moon comes in with a helping hand and says, hey, let's do it this way, giving you some creative ideas on how to deal with this situation. So bottom line here is trust your gut, trust your intuition. Neptune being a part of this really is all about intuition. And especially sitting in your support system, your intuition is the biggest support that you have. You just have to be open to it. You have to listen to it. You have to follow it. You have to not discount it as there's no fact base behind it. So I don't really want to listen to that. I know it's a little bit scary, but trust me on this. Your intuition is usually spot on for everybody. The biggest difference between, say, me and my intuition and you and your intuition is whether or not you follow it. Basically, it does feel weird. It is kind of like blind following it, but you're not following it into a dark pit. You're following it and also learning and getting the information that you need at the same time. It's just pointing you in a specific direction. One way that this I have a really good example of this actually, that I had at one time, and that was many, many years ago when I would, walk around the corner to Walmart, and I kept seeing this dentist office, and I kept being pulled to this dentist office, and I was like, hell no, I'm not going to the dentist because fear of the dentist and all that stuff. But I kept being pulled to it. This happened for months. I kept staring at it. It was just like I could not look at it. I couldn't figure out why. And then I had a toothache one day. It happens, right? And of course, I've been staring at this dentist and I kept getting pulled to go here and I kept getting pulled to go here, even though my brain was like, oh my God, where do I go to deal with this toothache? It's horrible. But my intuition had been telling me for months that I needed to go there. And I'm so glad I listened because I got the best dentist I have ever had. He was so wonderful, took that tooth out like it was nothing. All of the pain was gone. We started long-term dental work. I was extremely comfortable with him. I actually looked forward to going to the dentist because he just was that wonderful. This is how your intuition works. It just keeps pulling you in this direction. Don't ignore that pull because it could be exactly what you need in order to fix the problem. So that's what I have for you guys this week. If you love your horoscopes, do consider sending a tip or donation through my Ko-fi link, which is in the description of the video. Really appreciate that. Also in the description of the video is my website. You can book time there. You can check out the membership there. You can get in touch with me there. So I don't seem quite so far away. Lots of options there. Go and check it out. I'm Melissa Bruce, the Heavy Metal Psychic, and I will see you guys next week. And in the meantime, you guys get excited about your plans and let that fear take a break for a bit. And I'll see you guys next week. Make it a great one, you guys.